For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So to all Americans, in every city near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words: you will never be ignored again.
Well, many are discovering the ties the Epstein files have to just about every conspiracy theory we have ever discussed. We will get into the medical suppression, the government moves against the people, trafficking, and more. No matter how hard they try, the world system set up under Satan is getting hit hard. Election integrity, immigration, education, so much more will be changed someday. But it had to be this way. We have 500,000 plus followers on our Rumble channel, our main channel. They've protected us for a long time. They've kept us away from the folks who hate free speech like YouTube and other places that took us down because they couldn't stand the truth. And YouTube still works against us and takes videos down that we post there on our second account. Actually, it was our fourth account we've created there. They're actually letting the one that we have now stay, but they still don't like it if we put out medical stuff. They go against it. Anyway, you can find us at amweknow.com, and you can find all of our gear there also. It was amazing. There's a wedding.
You have been by my side, Dan. I will never forget it. You stuck with me. In good times, we've seen good times. We've seen bad times. And this is the best time of all. Have a great life together.
And so this is Dan Scavino. Had a wonderful wedding. It's been published quite a bit all over social media. And there's President Trump with him. And of course, he's done a great, fabulous job. There's his new bride and his new son there with them all together. And it looks like Mar-a-Lago. And there's Elon Musk in attendance. Pretty cool. And man, just looks like a great time all together. In the midst of all the darkness and all the things that have been thrown at us, they had a wonderful time together. And Dan has, in my opinion, been running and helping on the Q team side, posting all types of timestamps for us to look on the Q board to keep us motivated. The folks that have been working behind the scenes to ensure, including Stephen Miller, who I believe is part of the Q area too, because of their post Do It Q picture, right? And so moving into that, DC Lidstone caught that the video was actually 1 minute and 23 seconds long. Well, if you go to drop 123, it says nothing is random. Everything has meaning. And if you look up the word wedding on the board, it says congratulations. Not exactly wedding material, but great when in the action. So pretty amazing. Those who pull the trigger seem to prefer this. So amazing. And also, those that thought that they could go against President Trump and link him up with Epstein, Trump had something to say.
We have other things to do because that whole thing has turned out. I mean, other than Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, you know that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. You know, when Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out. And they're in trouble. Those that think that they're going to come after President Trump, all they care about in the left is if we can just get any anything on this man, anything at all. We're going to go through the Epstein. We're going to find out. Well, everything that's in the Epstein files points to all of those who conspired against him. And of course, that's going to make the media go silent on it. It's going to make the liberals go crazy and do all they can to attack us. President Trump said, not only wasn't I friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazebag lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and or my presidency. So much for the radical left's hope against hope, some of whom I'll be suing. Additionally, unlike so many people that like to talk trash, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all of these crooked Democrats and their donors did. Interesting, he posted this at 1:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you go to 1:18 on the keyboard, Ripcord shows us this. It says, all assets, F+D being deployed. Some who once supported President of the United States sleepers will turn puppets and puppet masters. You guys notice anybody turning against President Trump who are podcasters who have big numbers, maybe millions of followers, and all of a sudden they say, well, I'm not voting for Trump anymore because he dropped a bomb on Iran. All the great things he's done, but one thing they don't agree with, I should have never supported him. And they get all their millions of people to start doubting President Trump. See how it works? It continues. Control of the narrative equals control of public opinion. Control of public opinion equals power. Everything is at stake. The old guard power structure is being destroyed. Washington Civil War. Control the narrative. Prevent the exposure of truth. Self-preservation, that's what they're up to. Fighting for survival, information warfare. It's amazing how all of this is tying together. So I'm going to get into more of the Epstein stuff later, the added things that we're going to continue to expose like we did yesterday. But when President Trump said, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all these crooked Democrats and their donors did, just wanted to highlight something that's been coming out quite a bit lately. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Ultra Magadine Erickson, just a reminder that this Nicki Minaj character, I guess she's a famous singer, right? I've seen her around throughout the years. I don't listen to the radio, don't listen to her music, but she's got 25.7 million followers that have heard the truth. And she's starting to post quite a bit of information to those 25 million plus people. I think those numbers have gone up. She said, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their God. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. She's also posted something that most people probably know by now, but she's dropping information on Chrissy Teigen, who posted several things on X, on back then the Twitter, and she deleted them all because she was caught talking about what she likes to do to little children. Nicki Minaj says everyone knows Chrissy Teigen has and had a, you know what? Chrissy Teigen is a male. We've been telling everybody that for a long time. Now with Nicki Minaj talking about it, there's no telling how that's going to move forward and the attacks that are going to come against her. While all this is going on, we have our government that's been partially shut down, right? President Trump said he's working hard with Speaker Johnson to get the current funding deal, which passed in the Senate last week, through the House and to my desk, where I will sign it into law immediately. We need to get the government open, and I hope all Republicans and Democrats will join me in supporting this bill and send it to my desk without delay. There can be no changes at this time. We will work together in good faith to address the issues that have been raised But we cannot have another long, pointless, and destructive shutdown that will hurt our country so badly. One that will not benefit Republicans or Democrats. He said this.
On the government shutdown, do you think there could be a resolution to this issue? And have you gotten assurances from House Republicans?
Well, I spoke with Speaker Johnson. I spoke with Leader Thune. And I think they're pretty close to a resolution. You know, we were at 5.6% GDP, and we lost 1.5 points because of the 42-day shutdown. Think of that. We would have been at 7. Nobody ever saw a number like 7. And I think, Howard, probably 1.5 points was the number, right?
1.5 for the shutdown. Exactly right.
And it's very bad for our country. But despite that, we have the highest numbers we've ever had. You know, we're doing well. We're going right through it. But I will say that I spoke with Senator Schumer numerous times, and I don't think they want to see a shutdown either.
On the government.
Talking to Schumer, an evil guy who likes to talk to demons. Remember that? He turned to his chair years ago. He says, hey, and he started talking to whoever was in the chair. It was invisible, and they're like, he's either lost his mind or he's talking to the demon that follows him everywhere. And while these questions are rolling in, Tom Tillis comes up. He wants the Jerome Powell investigation to be dropped. Tom Tillis, listen to President Trump.
Questions, please.
Mr. President, speaking of the Fed, would you like to see Janine Pirro drop the investigation into Chairman Powell to help? Senator Tillis has basically said that, you know, he's not going to really be working
That's
with the
why he's not a
administration
senator very
to help
soon.
bring war. So would you like to see the investigation?
No, she's got to take it to the end and see. Like, you're doing a small renovation, and they've spent almost $4 billion doing a small renovation. I'm doing buildings. I built a hotel, the Waldorf it's called, and I did it for around $200 million. It's a much bigger job. They're spending almost, it could be $4 billion. I'll tell you what, I don't even see an end in sight. I feel badly for the new Fed chairman because he may not have an office for 4 years. I don't know what these people are doing. So it's either gross incompetence or it's theft of some kind or kickbacks. I don't know what it is, but Janine Pirro is incredible, and she'll figure it out. But no, you want to take it and just find out what happened, because we can't go around doing a renovation of a small little complex, very small, couple of little buildings, and spend billions and billions of dollars on it. Something went wrong. We have to find out what it was. Yeah, please.
Tom Tillis wants to protect him, and what does President Trump say? That's why he won't be a senator anymore. President Trump hit Rhino Tillis hard. He's quitting and running, not running for re-election in 26. We're going to get into the children, how they're being mistreated again with the walkouts, what that means for many of the folks out there, how we can go back against that, and also get into our elections and much more. Hold on. Friends, let me ask you something. How long have you been trying to get healthy without really knowing what's going on inside your body? You've seen doctors, you followed advice, you may have tried diets or supplements that sounded right, but nothing really changed because you were still guessing. That's why my family and I work with Dr. Kelly Shockley. She doesn't guess, she tests.
One of the biggest ones that I didn't even know I had needed a win, and that is that I have stopped a dependency on melatonin after 10 years use, and in order to sleep. A lot of good results, but to stop that 10-year addiction has been just life-changing.
Dr. Kelly stepped outside the traditional medical system so she could do what the system simply doesn't allow. Look deeper, ask better questions, and get real answers.
And with complete and proper testing, and then actually interpreting those results differently than what the rest of the medical world does, we can find the why behind your diagnosis or the symptoms you're experiencing now that you didn't used to.
Through advanced testing, she uncovers what's actually driving symptoms: toxins, nutrient deficiencies, inflammation, stress patterns, the things you simply can't see without data. When we went through testing, she identified issues I had never even mentioned, things I didn't know were connected. That's when I realized how much I was guessing. This isn't cookie cutter care. It's not trend chasing. It's stewardship. God designed your body to heal, but you have to know what it needs. Testing lights the way. Go to corehealthadvantage.com/AUK. learn how testing works, and decide if it's time to finally get real answers. It's in the description box below, including a link to our latest interview. You'll love it. Click on that link today. Well, it looks like Minecraft is facing significant backlash after posting "Want to Change the World IRL, Start in Minecraft." The post promoted its free Good Trouble DLC, which encourages players to explore civil rights movements around the world, learn about protests, learn how to stand up, speak out, and build a better world. See, they're already getting to the children even through children's games. So if they can't get you into school, if you're homeschooling, well, if your homeschoolers are playing Minecraft, they're being told to learn how to walk with these civil rights leaders. Hundreds of students walked out of a class in Maynard, Texas, near Austin, to protest ICE deportations. Only 10% of those students are proficient in math, by the way. You can look it up. Students at North Central High School in Indianapolis walked out to protest ICE. They currently have an 85% graduation rate. Maybe if they were in the classroom, someone might be able to help the remaining 15%, says Redline News. And now look at this. For all the Marines out there, they're mocking us. Minnesota liberals attempting to mimic the Iwo Jima flag raising using a state flag instead. They definitely need insane asylums for these folks. And how they can even think of doing something like this is beyond me. I don't know. Maybe it's the legion of demons that's inside of them and they just can't help themselves. And then you head over to the leadership. And I don't know. We'd like to hear from the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, again. Wants to stop the local police from helping ICE.
You're not using our local police. I need them to protect the communities and not have this distrust. And this is what we're hearing, that people are not distinguishing between local police. And we try so hard here to have a positive relationship with our communities of trust. And I want my police going after the murderers, the rapists, the gun traffickers, being available for emergencies. And if they're off, they're being deputized by ICE under these agreements that just a few of our counties are doing. They're being distracted, and I do not want that, and I'm not going to be supporting that, and we're going to change the law in the state of New York.
Yeah, change the laws. We have to keep our voters. It's all we have left. We're losing the minority vote. We're losing the Dominion Smartmatic machines. We're losing the ability to control the polls. We have got to keep our voters in. These illegals, or we're not going to stay in power anymore. And this one kind of shocked me. We got a mayor from Miami. Listen to this.
Higgins, nearly 7% of Florida is undocumented, according to Pew. In Miami, the police cooperate with ICE. But you, during your campaign, were very critical of that decision to cooperate. Can you change the policy without the governor being on board?
The governor issued a requirement that local municipalities cooperate with ICE. And many municipalities, including the city of Miami, before I became mayor, signed that agreement. It is very difficult to unwind. It would take a vote of our city commission to do so. So obviously, as mayor, I intend to comply with the law.
How does she intend to comply? You ready?
And so what we have done in our 1,500 person police department is we have trained 3 individuals, should ICE call, that are able to answer that call and work with them. Obviously, we're going to comply with the law, but we are not going to help beyond that. Because...
How about that? We're going to give you 3 for the whole section of Miami and Florida. Just 3. President Trump said, I've instructed Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem that under no circumstances are we going to participate in various poorly run Democrat cities with regard to their protests and riots, unless and until they ask us for help. We will, however, guard, and very powerfully so, any and all federal buildings that are being attacked by these highly paid lunatics, agitators, an insurrectionist. Please be aware that I have instructed ICE and/or Border Patrol to be very forceful in this protection of federal government property. There will be no spitting in the faces of our officers. There will be no punching or kicking the headlights of our cars. There will be no rock or brick throwing at our vehicles or at our patriot warriors. If there is, those people will suffer an equal or more consequence. In the meantime, by copy of this statement, I am informing local governments, as I did in Los Angeles, when they were rioting at the end of the Biden term, that you must protect your own state and local property. In addition, it is your obligation to also protect our federal property, buildings, parks, and everything else. We are there to protect federal property only as a backup, in that it is local and state responsibility to do so. Last night in Eugene, Oregon, the criminals broke into a federal building, did great damage, also scaring and harassing the hardworking employees. Local police did nothing in order to stop it. We will not let that happen anymore. If local governments are unable to handle the insurrectionists, agitators, and anarchists, we will immediately go to the location where such help is requested and take care of the situation very easily and methodically. Just as we did in Los Angeles riots 1 year ago, where the police chief said that, quote, we couldn't have done it without the help of the federal government. Therefore, to all complaining local governments, governors, and mayors, let us know when you're ready, and we will be there. But before we do so, you must use the word please with capital letters, P-L-E-A-S-E. Remember that I stated in the strongest of language to beware. ICE, Border Patrol, or if necessary, our military, will be extremely powerful and tough in the protection of our federal property. We will not allow our courthouses, federal buildings, or anything else under our protection to be damaged in any way, shape, or form. I was elected on a policy of border control, which has now been perfected. National security and law and order, that's what America wants, and that's what America is getting. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Brian Cates added, when the arrests start happening, many of the people arrested are not going to be held in local city, county, state jails. They're going to be held in federal facilities, tried in federal courthouses. When that happens, the mobs being sent after ICE are going to be sent after the federal buildings, especially the courthouses, to try to disrupt the proceedings there. Trump is giving them advance warning what will happen if they attack the federal buildings. I wanted to let you know, you can go to amweknow.com, folks. You can get all of our gear, t-shirts and hats and so much more. Follow me and I will make you fishers of men is one of those. It's pretty amazing. As a matter of fact, if you go to shop.amweknow.com, I'll take you there for a second. Haven't highlighted it in a while, but you'll see we have the new products there. You see the shiny logos there. Got the leggings, the t-shirts, the hat. It's got these pretty cool little star-studded little figures on there, kind of make it shiny for you. And our new collection won't last long. We got that there for you. And my book is still available, Beyond the Microphone. It's got pictures of me and my entire family throughout the years on it. We've kind of got it blurted out just a little bit there. But I hope you go check that out. Also wanted to show you this. We got this from Karen. She sent this in. She says she's in mourning for her dearest friend Barry, who's pictured there, folks, for you to see. Wanted to go to the cruise with him, but now he's gone, and my broken heart keeps making me hesitate. She says, please honor this Vietnam vet who lived right up to the end. He rode his old 1966 Harley Davidson the week before he passed away. He praised God every day and left markers in his Bible for me, 1 Kings 2:2-4, and Job 27. Praise God for him. So thank you for sending that. Here's more great pictures of Patriots wearing our gear.
I mean, it's not like the Bible didn't warn us about everything that's going on right now. Check this out. Foreigners who live in your land will gain more and more power while you gradually lose yours. They will have money to lend you, but you will have none to lend them. In the end, they will be your rulers. What are we going to do about it? Strangers among us will rise higher while we sink lower. Not because God hates us, but we just got careless. Look around you. Got all these unrecognizable people, foreigners taking office. People wearing turbans and whatnot. They covering up their heads and rags all over their head. This ain't America. Fraud is getting normalized. Rules are being bent. Border laws are treated like suggestions. They're distracting us with all these Epstein files while policies are being written right over our heads. You let them get away with too much. I mean, it's not too late. We just got to act now. We got to vote local. We got to vote at the midterms. We got to demand audits. We got to demand prosecutions. We got to demand that law is enforced. Because you don't lose a nation overnight. You lose it one compromise at a time. We also got to bring back our American pride. Everybody today got to go out and get a flag. I don't care if you put it on your car, get a bumper sticker. I don't want to see your little foreign flag flying all over the place. Go do that in your own country. It's America. Bring your American flags out. I want to see them on people's houses, on their lawn, and in their Instagram bios and whatnot. When you land in Mexico, show off that Mexican flag. When you land in Jamaica, show off that flag. When you're in America, come on now. Take off that hijab. Come on now. It's America. Put on a baseball cap.
We Scott America. Put that out for all to see. Some other things that we've noticed lately, if you guys saw this yesterday, the music has been taken over by Satan. Education has been taken over. Religion has been taken over. Medicine. All based off of satanic worship. We're going to get more of that in a moment. You know, they control the elections, then they can control and keep the power, and they can hurt so many people. Well, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, A.A.G. Dillon, this is pretty amazing, discussing what the Trump administration is doing to secure our elections.
I want to turn to another important project that you work on day in. You've been doing this for years, but now in the Justice Department, it's having real impact, and that is ensuring election integrity, starting with voter rolls and then going back and looking at anything all the way back to 2020, which there was an FBI raid last week that we know for sure from the people in Fulton County was about the 2020 election. Tell us where we are in that process and where you think what the American people should know about what you're trying to achieve with your election integrity push.
Right. So I think this is pretty straightforward. I'm surprised the amount of controversy it's created, but under the Help America Vote Act and other federal statutes, states have an obligation to keep their voter rolls clean. This is a basic concept. It applies to the integrity of our federal elections. And, a lot of states are behind in doing it. They don't use all the tools appropriate to do it. And that decreases confidence in the public. And I'm not saying this is all states. I'm saying this is many states. And so what you have is millions of ballots floating around in the mail that may be duplicates or dead people or people who aren't citizens, none of whom are entitled to vote in federal elections. So what we're doing is helping states clean up their voter rolls. And I'm happy to say that we have voluntary compliance now from 14 states. I think we're in the final stages of getting that from an additional 4 states. We have states that are not, we haven't quite sued them yet, but that's coming this week and next week. And then we have 24 states and one district, the District of Columbia, that I'm currently in litigation with to get their voter rolls. And those cases are in various stages. Some are moving forward. Some are, heading towards appeal. And we are going to keep marching forward until we either get all the voter rolls or we take this case all the way up to the Supreme Court. Because under the 1960 Civil Rights Act, the Attorney General is entitled to review and inspect this data. Now, some of the goofy responses that I've gotten from secretaries of state have included, oh my goodness, this is highly confidential Social Security information. We can't possibly give that to the federal government. I mean, John, that's just silly because the federal government, of course, issues the Social Security numbers, and people routinely give it out on a daily basis when they go to the doctor and they go to the DMV, et cetera, et cetera. That's very silly. And also a lot of these states that are not giving the government the voter roll data, they freely give it out to liberal groups so that they can use it to chase votes and voters in a targeted way. So that's kind of two-faced to do that. Now, Georgia is one of the states where we have multiple lawsuits going for the voter rolls, but also for those Fulton County ballots. It was an unusual situation in which there was litigation there. And so Fulton County had preserved those ballots. But now one of my colleagues in the DOJ has also gone in and executed a criminal search warrant after getting a magistrate
to sign off on probable cause. And so, generally speaking, John, criminal cases take precedence over civil cases in our federal system of justice. And so we're going to figure out the logistics there with the court and with our colleagues, and see what those ballots show. I think it was highly unusual. A lot of things that happened in the 2020 election in the swing states, as you mentioned, I was involved in some of those as, a volunteer. And so we're going to see what we see, and whatever the evidence shows. I think it's important for the American people to know what happened in Fulton County and in Georgia, and to prevent gross errors or malfeasance from happening again. I think that's just important for the integrity and confidence of the public in our elections. And my final point on this is, in the rest of the world, they don't vote this way. I mean, we like to laugh at the rest of the world being backward or what have you. Countries, the entire Brexit vote in the UK was conducted on a single day, and they got the results after, a couple hours after the polls closed. They're just these paper ballots, and they don't send ballots in the mail that can be picked up by other people or voted. They don't allow people to self-identify as American citizens. That's ludicrous. And so a lot of these things really need to be changed. But at a minimum, I think we can all agree people should be voting only once, and it should be only American citizens, and we should not be opening ourselves up for fraud. And so we are here to ensure the integrity of our elections.
How about that? Nice update. Suing the states that are complying in the next couple of weeks, 24 states plus D.C. They're making all kinds of excuses. They don't want to share their voter rolls. It's all fraud. The jig is up. They're in trouble. Massive group of House Republicans led by firebrand Brandon Gill just dropped a bombshell letter demanding Mitch McConnell release the SAVE Act from the Senate Rules Committee and bring it straight to the floor for a vote. Pass the SAVE Act. Also, Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina Luna say they received assurances from Senate Majority Leader John Thune to revive the standing filibuster, effectively breaking through the zombie filibuster to advance the SAVE Act, which requires proof of citizenship and voter ID for federal elections. This comes after the White House meeting with President Trump. In exchange, Luna and Burchett are now leaning toward voting yay on the upcoming funding bill rule. A standing filibuster would force senators to actually debate on the floor. No more silent zombie blocks, allowing passage with 50 votes if Republicans hold firm and Vice President J.D. Vance breaks any tie. I also somebody posted, here it is, Mila Joy. Senate Leader John Thune reportedly is going to force a standing filibuster, then go to the nuclear option to pass the Save America Act and enact voter ID. If it's true, it'll be pretty amazing. It's not what the Democrats want, man. They're probably freaking out right now. Remember, they want all of the illegals to become citizens overnight.
Short of workers, we have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Yeah, he wants that prolonged shutdown, doesn't he? If they attach voter ID and citizenship verification to the funding bill, he knows the SAVE Act will ruin them. Their ultimate goal, all 11 need to become citizens. They need those voters super bad, don't they? So bad that they're letting all of the kids out on the streets scream and yell. North Central High School in Indianapolis going crazy. They're loving that. Probably the teachers, they got together. You know how they have their whole system against President Trump. They're like, yeah, let's communicate with as many schools as possible and get these kids to overreact so we can do all we can to make this end. Mike Lee said, if ID checks are Jim Crow, then so are Democratic national conventions where delegates are required to produce ID to get in. You also need an An idea at the labor union conventions. Oh, you need it at the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the banks, the pharmacies, the hospitals, airports, hotels, gun shops, casinos, schools, Social Security, DMVs, casinos, and employers. Just a reminder. Getting over to all of the Epstein files. It's going to be quite a while to get through it all, but folks are doing their due diligence to ensure that this information is given to the public, and it's pretty frightening, some of it. Stuff we've been talking about for a long, long time. Rubber Duck, if that wasn't enough, in May 2010, Hillary Clinton, it's one of these that was found in the files, Secretary of State and Cheryl Mills, Chief of Staff, brought Smartmatic voting systems to run the first election in Haiti after the earthquake, assuring that the Clintons would forever control the flow of gold, children, and adrenochrome from Haiti. There it is right there on your screen. Laura Graham from her to Cheryl Mills, Haiti elections. I told Bob that BC cannot engage on this issue. They spoke to President Clinton about a company. The name is Smartmatic. They just completed a successful election in the Philippines. They also have extensive experience in many places. They are on the top 3 most successful companies in the world in this kind of work. So we can bring that down to Haiti. Haiti. They were going against Hillary, exposing her then.
Haiti have gold. We have one of the largest gold mine in the Caribbean. So, and they let the world, nobody's saying anything about our goals. Yeah. And who do you think is in charge of our gold right now? The contract. Yeah. Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother. Wow. He's got a 26 years contract. And then also Haiti we used to produce our own rice. We didn't have to buy rice overseas. Bill Clinton destroyed our rice so his brother can sell the rice from Arkansas. Yeah, wow. So they're doing a lot of things. Right now, if there's a millionaire or a billionaire who wants to do business in Haiti, they cannot do anything unless they check with the Clintons. The Clintons are the one who's running Haiti.
The Clintons run Haiti. Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother, 26-year contract. Wow. So speaking of that brother, Tony Rodham, immediately following the man-made earthquake mass murder event in Haiti in 2010, the Clintons, members swooped in under color of law through their Epstein-funded Clinton Global Initiative and trafficked the infants and children whose parents were killed out of Haiti and into the United States with no birth certificates. 400,000 children disappeared from existence when the Red Cross took the final count. Only Laura Silsby was ever arrested after getting caught trafficking 33 children herself, but Bill Clinton hired his law firm, forcing Haiti to drop the case and all charges. Children of Haiti were coveted by the occult due to the specific texture and flavor of the adrenochrome harvested from their pineal glands. The Podesta emails revealed the name given as walnut sauce. Oh yeah, Tony Rodham, after the mass ritual event sacrificing Haiti for Moloch biblical, the Clinton Foundation seized all of Haiti's gold reserves and mines along with all their rice export contracts and placed everything in Tony Rodham's name. Lots of resignations recently. Former UK government minister Peter Mandelson resigns as member of Labour Party because of the latest files showing ties to Epstein. We got a lot more on Epstein to cover in a moment.
You know what's happening in this country. Big corporations and the deep state are swallowing up family farms and ranches. We're talking 15 to 30,000 gone every year, folks. In just the last 5 years, 20.1 million acres of farmland erased. Families who've been raising your food for generations are being pushed off their land, and the ones who survive, well, they're hidden behind big corporate brands never recognized. That's why I want to introduce you to Tri-Tails Beef. They're a fifth-generation Texas family ranch, and they raise cattle the right way. Pasture-raised, grain-finished for flavor and tenderness, and never touched with mRNA shots. And here's something I love. They even source from other ranchers who meet their same high standards. It's all the same care, genetics, and integrity. Their beef is the real deal. High-end Black Angus genetics aged to perfection, shipped straight from the ranch to your door. This isn't just about a steak. It's about taking a stand for American ranching, real food, and the families who make both possible. So if you want to fight back, if you want to keep your dinner table connected to real American hands, go to trybeef.com/AWK and support Tri-Tails today in the description box below. Continuing on. The famous 4chan post claiming Epstein was taken out of prison by uniformed military service members has finally been verified. This is from Drago. It is very possible he is in witness protection as an informant against his puppet masters. We've been talking about this for a while, folks. They switched him out. The individual who anonymously posted on 4chan, that was in case you guys are wondering what 4chan is, it's basically a roundabout way where people collect information, talk to each other, communicate, and they're pretty much able to find anything they want using that, and changed to 8chan after that. Anyway, posted on 4chan the morning of Epstein's death, August 10th, 2019, claiming he witnessed weird happenings at the prison before Epstein's death has been identified in the Epstein files. Wow. Guy named Robert, an officer at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, has been identified as the anonymous prison employee who posted on 4chan, claiming Epstein left his cell Friday evening shackled in a medical wheelchair, while at the same time an unauthorized trip van arrived at the prison, which he believes took Epstein away the night before news broke of his death. The day after Epstein's death, U.S. Attorney Geoffrey Berman of the SDNY opened a grand jury proceeding and subpoenaed 4chan, Apple, AT&T, Citibank for records aiming to uncover Roberto's identity following the anonymous 4chan post. His name is not redacted on his bank records, including in the New York subpoena response from Citibank for his 4chan post, and ties to the same prison officer whose statements were released as part of the prison's investigation into Epstein's death. There it is. Fact check. True. Epstein alive in military custody, singing like a bird. We showed you the pictures back then, folks, when all this played out. Had a different ear, doesn't even look like him, completely different nose, and more. But they released those pictures because they wanted you to believe it. But they had to bring him in. He's singing, he's telling everything he knew all these years. It's all been put together, and they're slowly giving the information out to we the people. Sire G, founder, Green Med Info, senior advisor for Maha Action, says he found some very interesting things in the documents for Epstein that were released. Buried inside them may be one of the biggest bombshells no one is talking about: the blueprint for the 20-year financial architecture designed to turn pandemics into a profit center. Offshore vaccine funds, pandemic reassurance triggers, donor-advised fund structures designed to profit under the cover of charity, simulation programs, career pipelines into pharma and the World Economic Forum. All built years before COVID-19, all running through Gates, JP Morgan, and Epstein. So the offshore arm for vaccines. In August 2011, Jeffrey Epstein emailed Mary Erdoes, CEO of JP Morgan's $2 trillion asset management division, outlining a Gates-linked donor-advised fund. He said, however, we should be ready with an offshore arm, especially for vaccines. Oh. The CEO of JP Morgan Asset Management didn't flag compliance. She asked for answers before the 31st. She got them the same night from a convicted sex offender. Your offshore arm email. Number 2, the quiet part out loud. Same month, same email chain. Epstein writes to Staley and Erdoes. The tension is making money from a charitable org. Therefore, the money-making parts need to be arm's length. The architecture of this structure, convicted of sex crimes against minors, is explicitly acknowledging that the vehicle is designed to generate profit under the legal cover of charity. The tension email.
Number 3, pandemic as an investment category. May 2017, 3 years before COVID-19, Boris Nikolic, Bill Gates' chief science and technology advisor, emails Epstein and Gates about donor-advised funds and rights. It might be a great path forward for some key areas such as energy, pandemic, etc. Pandemic. Listed like energy, a standing investment vertical, not an emergency, a portfolio strategy. Number 4, the parametric trigger. January 2017, an iMessage thread from Epstein's phone. An associate lists career options and one stands out. Join Swiss reinsurance team, developing health products. Did one for pandemics. Help develop parametric trigger. A parametric trigger is a financial instrument that automatically pays out when a pandemic is declared. Ooh. Developed by someone in Epstein's career placement network. 6 months later, the World Bank issued the first ever pandemic catastrophe bonds, structured by Swiss reinsurance, with exactly these triggers. Coronavirus was a listed peril. You got to be kidding me. Bombshell number 5. Gates requested Epstein in writing. August 8th, 2013, 5 years after Epstein's conviction, an agreement letter addressed to William H. Gates states that Gates specifically requested that Jeffrey Epstein personally serve as the representative of Boris Nikolic. Gates waives conflicts of interest, provides broad indemnification in writing. He had access to every law firm, every advisor, every institution on earth. He chose a registered sex offender and put it on paper. The question you weren't supposed to ask: nobody builds a fire station after the fire. What these documents reveal is a fire station built beside a factory that stores accelerants, owned by the same people who wrote the building code. Patents, simulations, reinsurance triggers, offshore vehicles, career pipelines, all operational before COVID-19. The question isn't whether they planned a pandemic. The question is, what structural safeguard existed to ensure they didn't profit from one? Oh boy. What else do we have? Another Epstein bombshell. George Slopadopoulos, Katie Couric, Chelsea Handler, and Charlie Rose had private dinner, the royal family, at Epstein's New York estate in 2010. In an email sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Serbian fashion designer Boris Nikolic, appears to brag about their magnificent night together. That's weird. Why was Hillary Clinton concerned about something so benign as a pizza and hot dog party at Obama's White House? Waking Outlaw reminded us. Remember, Barack Obama had $65,000 in hot dogs for a party. We talked about what hot dog represents. Remember these code words: pizza, hot dog, spaghetti, and more. She wrote to Abed in Huma, Obama, Barack, Podesta, Affleck, B. Affleck, Pelosi. Dear Barack, when we began the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle out of it, that will be our downfall. Please know that I am speaking as a friend. You are the president and can do as you like. But I have to say, I think it would be wiser to restrict this activity to our predetermined locations. Wow, so she's saying, well, I don't know if we should have pizza and hot dogs at the White House. We should have that somewhere else. That's not very good. Folks, she's not talking about pizza and hot dogs. She said we can vote on it if you'd like. Hillary. So we know now the pizza parties from Jimmy Comet Ping Pong. I'm sure that was their other locations, where they talked about their parties. The Chicago Hot Dog Friday that they talk about in their emails. The victims that came out forward and explained it all. Bill and Hillary Clinton have now agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee as part of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, just one day before they faced being held in contempt of Congress. And the pictures are released on your screen showing his relationship and how many times he went to Epstein Island was over and over and over and over. And the people that he hung out with. Epstein's bank account, tied to the name Bail, we talked about this yesterday, tells you everything you need to know. I can't believe people are actually posting about Bail or Ball, whatever you want to call it. You also might recognize Ball in the famous clothing brand Balenciaga. In one of their ads, they specifically added another A, paying homage to the Canaanite god Baal or Baal. Jeffrey Epstein had an odd connection to one of his bank accounts using the name Baal, and Moloch, or ancient Canaanite deities, often portrayed in biblical texts as rivals to the Israelite god, associated with fertility, storm, and specifically in Moloch's case, child sacrifice. While Baal was a fertility god, Moloch is linked to the child sacrifice. Baal is also sometimes used as another name for Moloch or a specific epithet for Baal. Baal is also associated with the word king. Either way, they are gods of old against the one and only, which is all you need to know. And we showed you Balenciaga and the children and how they place Baal or Baal all over their stuff. Epstein's niece makes explosive claims alleging elite child trafficking networks and accusing powerful figures of ties to ancient Baal worship. I put the entire interview in the description box below this video.
The cult of Baal, B-A-L. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly, but behind closed doors, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A''A''L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not. This is what people perceive the Illuminati to be. It is a group of elites that practices forced and uses these crimes to control people. They happen to have a huge reach over politics and entertainment. To answer your basic question, why my family does this, because it was done to them, because having one man bear as many children in a generation as possible and forcing them through these traumatic events, they believe it creates a stronger bond, that creates more loyalty, that it keeps people from talking. And for the most part, they're right, because I'm the only one of my siblings who has directly spoken out about this. There are people who have hinted at it in their music. Of course, Justin Bieber has talked about being assaulted by Usher and Justin Timberlake at P. Diddy's parties, but I don't think it's a coincidence they've only gone after Sean Combs and not his other alleged perpetrators who were born into the bloodline. There seems to be a level of protection for people who are simply born into that world, contrasted with people like Sean Combs or R. Kelly, who joined as adults. But I was not in the boardrooms. I was a child on drugs. So I can't tell you exactly who organizes this, exactly how it happens. It's just speculation and memory.
And so, moving forward with this, remember the Q drop, December 20th, 2018, the Democrat Party will cease to exist once it's all exposed. Fake news can no longer control and dampen public awareness of the truth. Dark delight, and it's going out, folks. It's spreading like wildfire over X. February's heating up. Tom Homan reveals the Trump administration's found a lot of children.
Border star Tom Homan revealing 145,000 unaccompanied migrant children have been rescued from Biden-era neglect. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the Biden administration lost more than 450,000 children because of its open border policies. And now DHS says it will not stop until every last child is found. Here to discuss is HHS whistleblower Tara Rhodes. Tara, it's so great to have you on for our viewers to remind them of who you are. You are somebody who raised the flag when you saw, when you were working at DHS, that there were MS-13 members trying to sponsor children, and you saved those children from that horrible fate. Tara, we've now seen 145,000, almost half, found in just 1 year by the Biden administration, by DHS, Kristi Noem, the border czar, and HHS. How do you feel about this progress?
Well, hi. Good morning, Rachel. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And thank you so much for continuing to shine a light on this critical issue of the missing children. Yes, under the leadership of President Donald Trump, he first secured the border, which absolutely cut down on the flow and in the child trafficking economy. And so that was the first critical move. And their next critical step was to put new leadership at the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is part of HHS, which is where the children were being trafficked from, the Office of Refugee Resettlement. So they put some great, intelligent folks there. John Fabricatore, who is a senior advisor, also acting director Salazar, and their collaboration now with ORR, so the Office of Refugee Resettlement, the FBI, and DHS, they've been able to go out, do a concerted effort, door knocking, finding these children. It's wonderful news.
Yeah, it sure is.
Why did they need so many children? After everything we've talked about, all the exposure with Haiti, Pizzagate, and more, I think we can draw some conclusions to some of that. And so, while all this is playing out, there's work being done that we might have forgotten about. We can kind of be reminded on this one.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this could have some major impacts for sure. Right now, 42 million people across the country rely on SNAP benefits just to put food on the table. And if you remember, at the end of last year, those SNAP recipients already kind of started feeling the impacts after losing access to those benefits during a government shutdown, which ultimately were later restored.
Amazing. So now everybody has to work 80 hours a month to get it. Even the homeless have to do it. That's right. People under asylum or refugee status can no longer receive SNAP benefits. Now, how they're going to be able to monitor that perfectly, we know it's going to be hard to watch everybody. But at least they're out there doing it, and they're talking about it on the mainstream media. Also, in case you guys missed this, silver went back up to $84. So those that bought when it got down to 77 or 78, guess what? You just went up. If you bought right first thing in the morning, Sunday, or you bought, when it was there. We don't have anything to worry about. The volatility is going to be crazy. We were reminded of that from Dr. Kirk Elliott, the video that we dropped Saturday with this new interview. I mean, we're going to watch some skyrocketing prices, folks, and it is phenomenal. And to hear it from Dr. Kirk Elliott, to realize you can get your silver from him, you can roll your IRAs over to him, your 401ks over. andweknow.com/gold in the description box below. Pretty amazing. And I hope you guys have jumped on board. Many have, and they're writing in to let us know how that's playing out. Now, there were some folks there at the Grammys, just to let you know, like Emily Austin, podcast host, who I saw, she was posting, didn't stand up and do all this applause for all these freaks during their support for this, cuss words against ICE and more. She went on Fox to explain.
The fake standing ovation, I want to tell the viewers one thing. It is all fake. If I tell you how many folks approached me at the Grammys, looked around and then whispered in my ear, "You're so brave, we agree with you." If only they would speak up, and then we'd feel like we're less of a minority. But we're not a minority, because we had an election. Donald Trump won that election. He campaigned on shutting the border. He campaigned on deporting illegal immigrants, as did every prior president. So it's all performative and it's fake, and we can't take it seriously.
Yep. Very good, performative and fake. And just want to make sure everybody knew, hey, I was there. I'll tell you right now what's going on, what's really going on. There are a lot of memes that came out. This is Billy. Stay back, you're trespassing on my stolen land. Remember, this is stolen land we're on. No one is illegal on stolen land. But if they, have a bunch of illegals show up at their house, they're not going to let them in. Oprah says, nope, get away. Billy says, nope, get away, keep out. You're not coming to my place. It's not my mansion. Come to America. It's not my stolen land that I have. No one is illegal. That's what they claim. But Hollywood's got their gates set up with all their homes. Keep out. Democrats only. That was posted for all to see. Another thing that I was going to show you yesterday and I forgot. But this is Danita. She left public school because she refused to help raise children on woke ideology. She built the Little Red Schoolhouse. I've showed this before, to protect children, childhood, and train the next generation with faith, truth, and strong academics. You've been thinking there has to be another way. There is, where children learn to love Jesus, love their country, and childhood is protected. Personally, I think this is the way. Sadly, so many of our public schools have lost their way. And this is beautiful. The Little Red Schoolhouse. And if you guys are watching this, it'll touch your heart. Children praying together. For those listening and not watching, little children peeking around and praying. They're not being told to go out and and protest. They provide care for farm animals. The older children teach the younger children. They harvest from their organic garden, grapevines and orchard trees, and they're not shaking pears out of the trees. We're shaking up education. Children understand how to secure their own food source and preserve the harvest. They're not trapped for 7 to 8 hours a day learning. They learn their academics in the morning. Science looks different here because they go out and learn it in real time. Discipline is simple, scrubbing and cleaning. The Little Red Schoolhouse in Virginia. Absolutely amazing. Praise the Lord for that. Lance's Epic Quest sent this to me and said it's important. And we have to remember this going forward because the silent majority has been announced over and over again. Never forget.
We have a silent majority of people. They don't go and riot and everything else, but they like what we're doing. They like having a safe city. I get calls every single day. Every person I see working in the White House, people I don't know, many people work here. And they say, I'd like to thank you, sir. Why? You've made Washington so great. We walk to work. They walk to work. You people know it very well. You walk to work now. You used to take an Uber or a taxi or something, and you even felt like in danger there. Every person in this building, I mean, virtually every time I see somebody, they thank me because a year and a half ago they lived in hell and now they can walk to work and they're totally safe. Nothing's going to happen. And if anything did happen, the person that did it would be living in hell for a long period of time. Thank you very much, everybody. The great silent majority is rising like never before. And under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first. We will make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you, Iowa. God bless you. God bless you, Iowa. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great crowd. Thank you.
Never underestimate the silent majority.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again, just thankful. Thankful for how you continue to protect our minds and our hearts through this very dark time that we're being exposed to the evil that's been around us for so long. We got rid of the Bible. We got rid of the prayer. The children grew up in many generations without hearing about you, knowing your truth, and more. We ask that you would continue to help us. Continue to give us a voice to speak out against these terrible things and to help with those that are dealing with this in a very dark and evil way that's been placed in their minds, that you'd help us pray for them, talk to them, share with them, and comfort them through your word. We thank you for those that are continuing to stay in the front lines, those that are getting beat up and yelled at and objects thrown at them and more. You please protect them. Maybe these protesters would somehow have some type of wake up and their eyes would be open to see what they're up to. And we watch a major shift across our country. In the meantime, we ask for protection over the leaders, over the decisions being made, over President Trump, his family, and others as they continue to fight for this great nation and for those around this earth. We bring this before you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great remainder of your day. It's a great time to be alive, and I think these updates will get better and better as we move forward. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So to all Americans, in every city near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words: you will never be ignored again.